So when I was 18, I decided I'm gonna move to LA and I'm gonna be an actor. I thought I was prepared. Wow, was I wrong. I went to Playhouse West. It was recommended by many, many people. And at that point, I realized, gosh, I don't know anything about acting. My approach to acting was memorize the lines and say it as fast as I could. But I was told by so many people I had a great look, so I thought, oh, I know how to act, I'm gonna go out and try. After going through Playhouse West, I learned what acting really is, and I learned that I didn't want to audition until I felt like I understood and I could really live the technique out. So I studied for 4 years under Robert Carnegie, who studied under Meisner, and I was the student that took a while to understand the process. I worked my butt off, and I worked so hard to the point that Robert saw I was really kicking butt, and he decided to give me keys to the school and let me clean the school. At the time, I didn't realize how fortunate I was to be able to do that. I had access to the school at all times, and I became closer to him because of that. He saw how hard I worked, and he wanted to reward me in that way. So at that point, I started rehearsing more and more and more. So once I learned, hey, I love acting, I started actually auditioning, and shortly after that, I had the opportunity to teach. I had been studying now for 4 years, been in plays with James and Jeff and all of them, and decided, okay, I want to start actually auditioning now. Well, Robert said to me, I have a class that's opening and I need someone to substitute. I think that you would be a great substitute. Would you like to try? And I thought, okay. So I ended up subbing my first class and absolutely loved it. It felt right. It felt like this is where I'm supposed to be. I subbed a couple more classes, and each time I would start subbing for people, more and more people would start filling up the classes because they liked my teaching. And Robert ended up taking me aside and said, you know, your classes are filling. People are requesting for you to teach. Would you like to start teaching more classes? So then I started getting more and more classes, and it got to the point where I made the decision, what should I be doing here? I'm the type of person that likes to give 100% to what I'm doing when I'm doing it. I really want to give that 100%. And I was dividing my attention between the two, and I talked to Robert about it, and we decided, okay, I think I'm meant to teach. I love doing it. This is where my passion is. I'm really able to communicate well with these people and help them, and it was what I decided I wanted to do. So I ended up teaching more and more, and I was, slowly still doing plays and acting for fun because I still love to act. So I still got together with classmates and was able to still stay in the senior advanced class at Playhouse, where the working actors were in. And I did some, fun acting at the same time, but my focus was really to teach. At that time, my father, who I was very, very, very close with, ended up getting cancer. And no one knew how quickly he was going to pass away. He found out he had cancer in May, and he was gone in September. I stayed in LA and continued teaching because really that was his wish for me to do. And when he passed away, I ended up moving back home. Not permanently was the goal. I was planning on just kind of moving back home, being there with my family, helping. Robert actually put all my classes on hold. He said, I'm going to have people substitute them. If you need 2 months, take the 2 months. When you come back, you will have all of your classes. And at that time, I realized, why am I in LA? I'm teaching. That's my main focus. Why not teach here in Cleveland, be closer to my family? And that's how I started Hood School of Acting.
The first stage of this technique is what we call repetition, and probably if you have ever done Meisner, that's the one thing that you've heard of. That's what he's famous for, is repetition.
It's really just to listen and connect. Now, you notice when they did this, there's a lot of moments where, one moment he was confused and she kind of felt bad for him. There's another moment where she seemed annoyed and then he was confused by that. So it's really about just listening, responding, and then eventually having your point of view to that moment. So I always like to say,